Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the fun, the joviality, and a bit of Mickey taking. It won't all be as for you guys, it'll be for Andy and myself. But just to prove that he's here, there we go. Andy's lurking in the background.
Hello.
I'll
So
get
I
rid
was
of
on.
him as quick as I can got him.
I was on
And
YouTube and I
let's
didn't appear.
talk you through what we're going to do. 12-inch by 5 not minimal, 6 not maximum, straight grained ash. I've marked the centre that end. I've also marked it that end because I beat crap out of the drive with a hammer. I didn't think you'd want to deafen you guys, so I thought I'd do it before we went live, but that's what it is. I've got 2.5 meters of 3 amp white wire. I have a 3 amp fused 13 amp plug top. I have whatever they call these.
Flange.
Yeah, it screws onto the top and the light fit in the batten holder screws onto that. So I've got to switch to one of them. So I don't need an inline switch. So I've got all the components. I can hide them out of the way because I shan't want any of them for the time being. And see if I can get rid of the mouse because I nearly crushed that just now. But let's come down to, I think we said it was that one, Andy, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing with different cameras because I have an issue with cameras at the moment. So I've balanced this up just on the points and just need to increase that in until that settles in there. Now, as I've got decent bearings on this lathe, what I can do is I can tighten it up so that it's up against the jaws and a couple of sharp raps just to help bed the teeth in of the 4-prong drive. Right, I think I'm going to have to shuffle things around a bit because I'm not sure what you can see. No, we're going to need to go along there. It's not going to be quite square. I don't think I can do that without pulling it off the
So if everybody
holder.
just kinks their head over to the left, they'll be fine.
Yeah. So glasses on. I might have even wiped them earlier, but I didn't.
I'll steady on.
Oh yeah, I know.
Don't overdo it.
Yeah. No. So speed right down, creep it up until I feel safe or till it starts dancing.
And everything falls off the walls, you know it's time to stop.
Yeah, that's close on 400. Just give it a quick tweak.
How dry is it? Do you know?
It's been down 3 years, so it should be relatively dry.
So it's going to be 15 or so, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, so the spindle roughing gouge, I'm just going to go down and bang this into round. And while I'm doing that, perhaps you'll be good enough to welcome everyone, Andy.
Tell you who's in. Certainly will, yep. So first on the list is Pete Twisted Trees. Came in about 7:30, so welcome Pete. He said good morning all, which
early starter, yeah.
Confused everybody completely. Well, confused me anyway. Tommy's Workshop next in, who said good night, Pete, just to keep it going. Lawrence Begasia, Brian Watkins, rather than trying to pronounce the Spanish. Brian El Tornero de Madeira. Lawrence Begasia, I've said already. Richard Fellon. Tommy, I've said. Door 60. same names coming up. David J. Heath, the Guildford Carpenter. Andy Best. Hello, Andy. Haven't seen your name for a little while. Nice to see you again.
Right, we've got a bit more speed on it. We're about 600 now.
Weaval. Colin Izzard. We carry on going down. Barry Chitty. Hello, Barry. Club member from West Sussex. Robert Dolman. No, I think I've said Robert already. I've said him twice now. Same name as James Crawford. Hello, James.
Right, that's close enough to being round for what we want.
Woodworm Paul. Hello, Paul. Sorry, I'll just carry on. Don't worry
Yeah,
about
you
me.
carry on.
Yeah,
I've got
Malcolm
the big
Douglas.
calipers so that
Hello, Malcolm.
this will fit in the mega jaws from Axminster. So
Roger Kent. Hello, Roger. Roy's the boy. I think. Oh, Linnykins. Hello, Linny.
hi, kiddo.
Jennifer's Craft and Creations. Hello, Jennifer. Chris Glanville.
Hi, Chris. Hope you're not too knackered tonight. He's just changed jobs. He's having to exert himself a bit.
Oh dear, that's serious. Well, sit down comfortably and enjoy the evening.
Yeah. Pull up a beer.
Or two. Graham Hain. Hello, Graham. So like there is so much chat going on that it takes a little while to work through it all, so apologies for that. But we will get to the end very soon, I'm sure.
Right, well, I've got a tenon that fits now, or will fit.
RPM Woodworks, that's Ray, isn't it?
I believe that's Ray.
For some reason, it's one I can remember, which is unusual for me. L'Atelier de Leo. Hello, Lionel. And there we are. We're there. We've reached the end.
The drive. I wonder if that light will. Doesn't quite bleach it out, does it?
Nope. That's better. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I've got my arm in front of it.
Yeah, so I'd say it's clearer. It's clearer with your arm in front of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can just turn with your arm in that position all day,
okay.
we'll be all right.
Okay.
But yes, we could see that. So. I know it's going in the chuck. Yeah.
It's going in the chuck in the mega jaws. So what I'll do is I'll just put the toes. Oh, if I got that any closer, that would be almost spot on.
Oh, that's a worry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ben's complaining he's going to have neck ache by the end of the evening, but
oh well, he's complaining about everything.
Get used to it, Ben.
He won't be on this one all the time.
No,
I'm going to change.
It's actually not that bad. It's only a little bit.
No,
anyway,
it's Ben. So I've got two tightening points on the Axminster chuck, which I'm using with Axminster jaws in it. So I'm using both to tighten it, and I will give it a tweak again in a little while, just to make sure that it's still holding up.
Chris Glanville says he's been up ladders all day, cutting holly tree down, so very knackered compared to normal. Waiting for holiday in Italy in a couple of weeks. Yeah, that's right.
Sitting on his butt doing nothing virtually. Right, I'm just going to hollow the top. Right, you can't see it on that one.
No.
Go to that one.
If you could reduce the light a bit, we'd be able to see that.
Yeah, I can turn it off because I can see quite well on that one. Right, spindle gouge, 1/2 inch spindle gouge. A bit more speed than that.
Did I say Roy's the boys in? I think I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe you did. just want to dimple the centre so that it will give me a point where the drill locates.
Guide your drill bit, yeah. Benjamin's in. Well, he says hello all. I thought he was already in, but never mind. That's one way to get it said twice, isn't it? Say hello all again.
Yeah, hello all again, yeah. Right. I'm going to put an 8mm hole down through the middle of this. This is one of the long series drills. It's just a normal twist drill in Jacob's chuck, but just need to get the speed about right so that it sort of centres. Let it stop wiggling around, because you can see it's possibly see it's bouncing. You might not be able to, but
we could see it when you first turned it on.
yeah. Well, now it's stabilised itself.
That's better, yep. Norman Greenwell is in.
Just going to wind it in.
Evening, Norman. And Alex of Widden Things is in.
Right. Hello to everybody. Welcome to everybody. If Andy's missed you, you need to announce yourself again so that he can make sure that you do get.
Up to 48 now, Keith.
Well done. Right, I'm just
good number.
pushing this in. I'm not widening it in. And making sure that I hold the chuck when I pull it back out.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't do the Morse taper on either side, the male or the female side, any good.
Or the drill bit, come to that. If it actually comes out.
Right, that's as deep as I can go with that bit. So this is when the trickery starts now, because my next one is an 18-inch drill bit. I can't get that in.
Oh, in the chuck and
in the hole and in the chuck. So, true to my normal self, I will swing this so that the drill bit goes in. I will take the chuck out and put the chuck on the end and gently ease the drill bit in.
You don't have the hollow tailstock centre then that you can put a long bit through? Presumably.
I wouldn't have means of holding it.
You hold it by hand. It's a 3 foot long tool.
Oh right, yes, yeah.
Yeah, you know the one I mean.
Yeah, I could do it, but the problem is I haven't got enough length at the toe end of the drill of the lathe.
I also have that problem. Yeah, I know what you mean. But hey, it's a nice idea. I was given it, got it for nothing, so I thought I'm not.
Yeah, I've got one of those. They call them long hole borers.
Yeah.
So I've only got to go just up to the red tape, so we've only got another 2.5 inches, inch and a half to go.
Yeah,
it's not hard work.
Not hard, no. Oh, Andrew Wivy Woodshed is in.
So we're getting to the other end. Clear it so that I don't stab it through and hit anything metal. It feels like it's running almost spot on, true. There's
that helps.
No sideways movement on it at all. So that's it, we're through.
And Royce the Boy says, question. Keith, where did you get the long drill bits?
The extended drill bits that I first used, you can get these from Toolstation, and the 18-inch auger bit, you would need to go to somewhere like tool bank or one of the major tool suppliers. Just got to find somewhere to put that. Oh, it's actually not very hot. Sometimes they get so hot, those auger bits, that take your skin off your whatever. Right, now I don't need the tail stock anymore, so I can move everything along so that I'm above the dust extraction and not head banging on the monitor above me.
Wood Turnings by Barry is in. Good evening.
Hello, Barry. So, right, we've got a hole through it.
And Kate is in, Cornish made 1982.
Yeah, I see her. I just looked up to see how the picture was situated. So, I think you can see enough on there.
Yep,
So,
yeah, that should be good.
back to the spindle gouge. No, before I do that, just double check to see how tight we are. Fraction. Yeah, just a fraction on each. Not even 1 degree. True up the end. We can do that with the parting tool or the bedan. Finish the last bit off with the spindle gouge so that it's a reasonable finish rather than a scrape cut.
Yeah. Ben's saying he's very pleased with his new lathe.
Who's that, sorry?
Ben.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is just as well with what it costs, so you want to
Yeah.
be pleased with it, don't you? Cornish.
Right, now.
Katie says, how is everyone this evening? Well, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm all right.
No, I'm okay. Now,
So
what sort of shape?
two of us.
Yeah, what sort of shape are we going to have on this then? Andy and I were talking beforehand, and I said, I haven't got a clue.
No, it's a leading question, that is.
Yeah. I want a fairly bulbous, oniony shaped base going into a neck with a little bit of a collar on it.
Yeah, the overall is governed by those big gouges out of it, isn't it?
Yeah, I've still got to take a bit more off the side.
Yeah.
So I can rough it down to shape, but I just want to get a little bit more off in the way of meat. So
Lawrence has got the same model of lathe. It's all the best people have, Lawrence.
But
then I'm bound to say that, aren't I? When Paul's asking what lathe is it, it's the Axminster 406.
Right. I think that's down to wood rather than wood and bark. I can start to put on a bit of shape.
Stuart? Got somebody called Stuart? Oh, Stuart Ingley is in.
Ah.
Good evening, Stuart.
Good evening to everybody.
Which is now 50 people. We've just hit 50.
Well done. Thanks, guys.
Which is very good, yeah.
Well, we don't, Andy and I were talking, we don't hit big numbers. We're not worried. We've got a loyal band that follow us.
Absolutely. That's the important thing.
And it'd be nice to have bigger numbers at times, but that's not my reason for doing it. My reason, or our reason, is to pass on knowledge, and so that you can see other ways of doing it.
Yep.
And if you've
And
got any questions, you can ask them, and I will do my best to answer them.
certainly, but because they stay on as a video, we get hundreds of people who watch them in the end.
Well,
So,
we were saying lunchtime. The live I did last,
oh yeah, that was unusual. Though.
last
Yeah.
Tuesday evening, covering for Rich, I have had 1,993 views. Don't ask me how. There's no comments left, but there's that many views been logged.
Roy's asking if you can do overhead. I'm not sure we're going to see much more, but we might. Let's try
Not
that for a
such a
bit.
good picture.
No, we can see the shape clearer, I think.
Okay,
See which way you're heading. We can try it anyway.
it's more or less square. Okay, see how it goes.
And Andrew says his lathe has been christened with oak tannin and wood dye. Yeah, it's the only way. Make it look used.
Just trying to get a bit more light back there, but it doesn't.
That's not bad. That's all right. That
It's
lives
a
up the
little bit
top.
more.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit more.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So I think I'm going to make it sort of a mushroom-shaped base to it. Not too big.
Roy says that's better, so he's happy with it. Satisfied customer.
I will put in the defining bottom.
Oh, you've got to define your bottom.
That's a. I think it's a 1.5 mil parting tool. It's an Ashley Isles anyway. So that's going to be the bottom.
Roy's talking about the amount of light with the other camera, but in fact, ash is a very difficult timber to get right, Roy.
It's a killer.
You put any light on it and it's too much.
I could turn all the lights out so that you wouldn't see what I was doing, and nor would I.
That could be interesting, but probably not a good idea.
Is that any better? It's not the best of cameras, this one. That's why.
No, that looks fine to me. It looks fine to me.
I'll turn the overhead off.
We can see exactly the shape that you're making it to, so that's fine.
Okay.
Chris Granville's asked a question. He says, I should know the answer to this, but is softwood okay to turn for bowls as I now have a bandsaw to attempt processing the blanks I have?
Any wood is good for bowls, providing
yeah.
And softwood is probably a bonus to start with, because you get used to turning, use this term loosely, a rubbishy old wood, but you learn tool control on it.
Yeah. And it does really depend on your definition of softwood anyway, but we won't go there, but that's another argument, isn't it?
Yep, you never win that one, I don't think.
No, but it's the specific timbers that are of more interest, really. But yes, you can use a lumber deal, bit of 4x2 is great for, or 2x2 is great for practicing on, or an old gate post or something, anything like that. Just so don't get disappointed because your finish isn't great, because that will happen sometimes. But you can practice doing coves and beads and all the rest of it.
An 8x2 would make a reasonable size plank to turn a bowl out of.
A bowl out of, yep, absolutely. You can go thinner than that if you want to do platters or something similar. So, but yes, everything's good for practice. Some are better than others for finishing.
Still got a bit of bark coming through there. I'm
Yep.
not too worried because I think that will probably be the back. I will use this as the front face.
Yeah. Have you got rid of all those marks where it was grabbed?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they've all gone. Yeah,
they've all gone. They went fairly quickly. But being that the timber started off as oval, it's you're sort of governed all the time. I might even have to go and sharpen this spindle gouge in a minute, Andy.
Yep. I was just going to say, who is it? Roy is talking about he's got some ash pieces like that. Ash is great stuff for practicing on. It does blunt your tools. That's the only thing you need to just keep them sharp. But
it's quite aggressive.
But you'll get a nice finish. A nice finish on ash.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive, yes. Yeah, but it's like, and the grain figuring on it. If you wanted to sort of use a bit of wax or something to bring out the grain, it works extremely well with ash. Spray it black and put coloured wax into the grain, and it looks fabulous. All sorts of things you can do.
I'm going to revert to a bowl gouge for the time being because it's just got a little bit more steel.
Yeah, I frequently do on ash, if I'm honest. Quite often use a bowl gouge, even when I'm spindle turning.
I can get in fairly tight because all of my bowl gouges have got a double grind on the bevel.
Yeah.
Just about see it on that picture.
Yes, you can do, yeah.
Yeah.
Colin Izzard says he made his first bowl out of 6x2 joists. Exactly, Colin.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that at all.
It's very nice to turn decent timber, but until you're proficient enough, it can be very expensive.
Yes. Oh, yes.
And particularly the price of timber today.
Well, I showed you that piece I bought from Yandles on Saturday, a piece of ash 4x4 and about 18 inches long, I think just over. And that was £23 something from Yandles.
Right.
For a specific job, but
I'm standing on my head. I think the top is too big.
I would have said so, yes. Glad you said that. I wouldn't dream of saying it much. That's getting better. You could even go a little bit more, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll just take it down at the neck.
Yes, because it's too heavy at the moment, isn't it? Yep.
Because that can alter the dynamics.
Oh yes.
Quite considerably. I'm only looking at rough shapes at the moment. I'm not defining anything, but I'm also thinking that most of these cuts are going to be finishing cuts, just in case I decide that I don't want to go any further with it.
Absolutely,
I haven't got to sand through from 20 grit up to a decent finish.
That's certainly better than it was, Keith. It could possibly go another 5 mil or something.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same.
But it's certainly better than 'twas.
And this is it's too close. The other thing is when you're when you're turning, you need to stand back to see the shape.
Yeah.
Don't
And
be afraid to walk away from it and give yourself 6, 8, 10 foot of visual space.
I think that's one very good argument for having an earworm. Perhaps we should have one all the time. Because it is somebody who's sitting looking at it from a slightly more of a distance.
Well, this is when I teach down the museum, we've got glass fronted cubicles. So the lathe is right at the very front next to the glass, which is handy because you can, if I'm telling someone what to do politely, I can see it from the other side of the equipment, which they can't. So, and quite often say, right, turn the lathe off, come out here and have a look at it and tell me what you think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Ben, if I can just take you up on the comment you've made, I can see exactly where you're coming from. Not to disagree with Andy or Keith, but getting a poor finish on softwood as a beginner can be a little disheartening. Yes, of course it can, but work at it because you will get a decent finish on softwood. It just takes a little bit more finesse, a little bit more care, but it's very, very good practice.
it's probably, and I say probably, because of poor sharpening of tools that you're not getting a good finish. Right, so what am I going to do now? I'm going to put I've got my hole all the way through. We've seen that. I'm going to put a hole in there.
Oh, you're coming out there? Yeah, right, okay.
And then you don't have to scoop a bit out underneath of it, and you are not going to be balanced on the wire.
Yeah.
So just turn that onto speed. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the hole in the centre, which I can see through the jaws. I'm aiming for that, and I'm going slightly uphill to the top. And if you don't hit it the first time, you can actually have a bit of a wiggle around and find it. I think I've found it. Maybe not quite. Looks like I might have gone a little bit high. That, I believe, has got it. Yep, got it. So I've got my hole through there now, so I can now finish everything and not worry about, the drill's skipped. Oh,
yes.
I've got to sort that bit out. So,
do you enlarge the hole in the bottom to get the cable through?
Don't need to. I find that through drilling that up at a slight angle,
it'll find it.
Exaggerated.
Yeah.
It will go up to the hole. A small thin screwdriver up through the bottom.
I'm with you.
Just eases it round. And I've never had a problem feeding them in.
Roy tells me that I missed Brian El Tornero de Madeira, but I didn't, because that's Brian Watkins.
You missed his question.
Oh, it was a question, was it?
All right.
Okay, I'll look for that.
I'm going to use the spindle roughing gouge on its side wing. Use it as a skew.
Well, there's a question here from Brian for you. When turning end grain and drilling through the pith, as Keith has done, does that act the same as removing the pith on a bowl blank in reducing the chance of cracking?
I wasn't on the pith at the centre because it was a branch, and very rarely do you ever get the pith run up through the exact centre of the wood. And it would, depending on the wood, it can act as a stress reliever for coming up through the pith. It depends on the wood. Ash is normally quite forgiving. quite happy with that shape. I think I might go just a little bit thinner up through the neck, but I'm getting nice light and their shavings coming off, which you can just about see. So I'm taking a nice light cut, but you can you see almost? Let me see if I can get a light on there. Don't think that's going to bleach it out too much.
No, looks all right.
On the side wing where my finger is,
Mhm.
I should be using that, and you can see the shavings coming off there. So I'm not using the bottom of the spindle roughing gouge. It's coming off just there.
That wing, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So you can use that as a skew. Nice light cut. I should be able to almost go straight on with a bit of 120 grit. What you don't want to do is think, I can be big and clever on this and go right down into the cove any further than that, because what you're going to do then is pick up two wings and get a bit of a snatch. Not really what you're looking for. No good. I'll be right back, guys.
Yep.
I'll make a bit
Roy,
of noise.
I can answer your question. Roy, you said, is the wood still a bit wet? We were discussing that earlier, and Keith reckons it's probably about 12 to 15%.
12 to
So
15, I would think. Yeah.
So it's not wet. No.
It's been down 3 years. Been under cover for 2 years at least.
So it's not bone dry, but it's dry enough to finish.
Ash is a funny wood because you can think it's bone dry and it still feels damp coming off.
It's very misleading, isn't it?
Yeah, that's better. Just forgetting I just sharpened this and going in too heavy-handed.
Does me good to see you do that, though, Keith. It brings back memories.
I hear you mumbling in the background, but I don't know what you're mumbling about, Andy.
No, nothing important.
Right.
Have I gone a bit soft then? I don't mean that. However you might take it. Is the volume not high enough then on my?
No, I've turned it down a bit. My end.
Okay. Right.
I wasn't
I
quite
thought
sure
seemed,
whether you'd sneeze and not put it back in front of your nose.
No. It was in the right place. So I've turned it
Okay.
up a fraction now.
Okay.
Might help.
Right. Quite happy with that end.
It's a nice shape, yeah.
Just got a line there. Sort of an onion shaped with a base. I think I'm actually going to take the base down a bit. A couple of passes.
Yeah, won't do any harm. That's better.
So that it tucks underneath of it. That looks better. looks better. Yeah, so that's going to be the front face with the growth ring there run. There's the hole right at the back, so that's okay. Oh, that is quite coarse, so me thinking I can get away with
see the grain there, yeah,
a bit of 120. I think I'm going to go a bit tighter than that. So what do I want to do now? I want to get rid of this massive tool rest because that's a bit of a bind. Put on the smaller one. At least I know where I am then. And swing that all round. Are you still in view? Yes.
Yep. We can't see what you're doing at that end.
No, no, I know, but like that.
Yep. It's a bit bright, but yeah, we can see it. We can see it. That's better.
Yeah, I'm swinging lights around, that's all. So now I want to make a small recess so that one doesn't see the plate.
Oh, you're burying that, yeah.
I'm just going to recess that in a fraction. So bring it up, fire it up. I did lock that, didn't I? Yep.
Does help.
And just touch it with the parting tool. It's too fast. It's a bit blunt anyway. Parting tool's not always good for end grain. I can see that that's not big enough by quite a bit. So it's the same as what Andy was doing lunchtime. Hit it several times to get his lid to fit.
Yep.
Go on to this one. Go on to the bead-an. It is slightly sharper than my parting tool. That didn't do it any good. Looks like it. Oh,
whole thing moved. The whole thing moved, but it's gone back again, isn't it?
I think it's jumped back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got the right size hole.
Oh, that's all right then.
Yeah.
Tidied up. You're there.
Let's put this away so I don't bury it in the sawdust. So let's just take those little tremors out. Like that. Drop the tool rest a fraction, and I think I'm going to put a little bit of decoration on the top here by putting a cove on there. You won't see any of it, but when you put your hand underneath to turn the bulb on and off, there'll just be a little bit of definition there. No good. I'm going to have to turn the light on, guys, just for a second.
Yeah, that's right. You've got to be able to see what you're doing.
Does make a bit of difference. Going down each side, stopping at the bottom. I'm not trying to do it all in one. Go down and come back up. doesn't want to know across the bottom there. We'll use that one then. Bring it up a fraction. I've got a round nose scraper just to get those bottom lines out. Just to save the sanding a little bit.
Yeah.
So that, I think,
Is that about there?
is about there.
Just 45 minutes.
Uh-huh. Well, we're going to go over the hour.
Yeah, that's all right. There's nothing coming up, is there, sir?
No, because I think I'm possibly going to add a bad word to it.
Not colour.
I'm going to put a drop of colour on it, I think.
Yeah, good.
As it's such a bland
It's a very
wood.
white piece, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, and it takes colour so well. That really does bring the grain out, doesn't it? Put colour on.
Well, I turned some light pools, some cord pools and give them to Andy for his church. And apparently there's a couple in there that I'd coloured, and he was a little bit sort of mystified, shall we say, as to quite how I'd achieved the finish, because it was, I do colour but very subtle. So we're going to try similar sort of thing tonight.
But yes, it was a subtlety that made it stand out. Yeah.
Mm.
If that's not a contradiction in terms, but
There was colour there, but there wasn't.
It wasn't in your face. No. Yeah,
No.
that's right. That was lovely light blue hint.
That's better. So I've just quickly sanded that in reverse. I want to hit it in forward, and we're still on 80 grit. I've just got a little bit of a, not a bad spot, but a spot that I'm not totally happy with. And as we're going to be attempting colour on this, I think we need to get it all down to a decent finish to start with.
Yeah. It certainly doesn't cover anything up, does it?
No. If there's a bad spot, it will enhance that and make it stand out like a sore thumb.
Alex of Widden Things is going. It needs to go now. We'll tune in later and see the finish. Good night.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate you guys spending time. There must be something on telly that's worth watching. Oh no, it's English telly, isn't it?
No, not much.
No. But hopefully you're all subscribed to me. If you aren't and you like what I'm doing, please go over and subscribe. And if you'd like to hit the notification bell, each time I come on, you will be notified. Whether that's at the start or halfway through it is up to YouTube, but
yes,
they do tend to let you know somewhere along the line that I'm live.
It's supposed to be half an hour before or something, isn't it? And then just as it starts, but it doesn't always work.
And it seems to be coming up the same week. Yeah. Rather than the same day.
Yeah, it reminds you so they're still on record.
Mm. So that's a bit of 80 grit. Go down one size now to 120. And this is really dry, the dust coming off of this. I ended up with a mouthful just now. Shouldn't have stood that close and breathed. So I think that proves the point that it is dry. You wouldn't get dust off quite like that if there was a little bit of moisture in it.
Is the extractor on?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pulling it away.
Oh, is it fine? Yeah. Yeah. I can't actually see that.
You can't see it, no.
No.
You can just see it accumulating over the top. But I'll whack it in reverse, and you'll probably see it pull it down then.
Oh,
Comes
yeah.
off like a rooster tail.
Yeah.
At the back there. So keep the paper moving. Don't sit in one place. Don't sit there with just one finger on it in one place, because you'll end up with a little bit of a dink in it.
And a burnt finger.
And yeah, hot finger. Although I'm quite happy to get a bit of heat in the paper. At least I know it's working, and I can see it's working because the dust's coming off.
Yeah.
But don't overuse your paper. It's peanuts per piece to buy. So invest in some new stuff. Throw away the old bit. You'll sand it so much quicker and with less heat. And don't even think that, oh, I've got a bit of 80 grit that's well worn, that's 120. Doesn't work like that.
No, you end up putting more pressure on it to try and make it cut, and then you do get too hot and burn your fingers, and it's always a recipe for disaster. So yeah, absolutely right.
And if you're not careful, you can set heat checks up in it as well through getting too much heat on it.
Especially with our favourite timber.
Yeah, I think I'm getting withdrawal symptoms. It's 2 weeks running.
Yeah, we've got to do sometime soon, haven't we?
Yeah. There isn't a shortage.
No, I've got plenty of it around here, and you've got even more around your place.
Yeah.
So we'll promise we'll do some before very long.
It's 240. Don't want 240. Where's that bit of 400 gone?
I think I need to make you a toast rack, don't I?
So that's up to, so that's 80, 120, 240, and this is a bit of 400 just over the top. I'm not going to Yorkshire grit it.
All right. Oh no,
as I'm going to put some spirit on there.
Yep.
So I need to get a nice finish on it to start with.
Which 400 certainly does.
I could go down to 6 if I wanted to. I've got some 6 and 8 handy.
Got some 1200 as well.
Yeah.
Because Club used to sell it, didn't they? And I've got a stock still from then.
I've still got some as well. Right, that's down to 400. Let's stop and have a look. Do a quick tickle with the me decorator's brush.
Your tickling stick.
It feels nice and silky. Okay, let's turn the extractor off, and I think I can kill the fire.
Oh, Barry's Wood Creations in says, "Hi Keith, Andy, and everyone. Sorry, I'm very late."
You're in, so
yeah, you're in. That's good enough.
Let's find a clean glove.
Douglas Mungham says he would have thought that us two would have had withdrawal symptoms by now. I think it's beginning to cut in, Douglas.
Yes, it's biting in a bit now.
I find myself dreaming about you. No, not about you, but about you.
Thanks. Right. This operation will be quite painless for me. Hopefully you as well. Don't want purple. Got these sorted out once. And then move the box.
That was 12 years ago. I mean, you know.
Right. Okay. I tend to put it on with loo roll because that isn't too absorbent, but there's too much there. It's a commercial length of loo roll, so I can tear it in half to get about a square and a half of household size. So I fold it 3 in half, 6 in half again, which is 12 layers. So I'm going to put a deeper colour on the bottom, which is the orange. And you can't see at the moment.
No, but it'll all become clear.
You can see now a bit more.
Yep, yep.
This is the beauty of my lathe. It runs at 2 revs per minute minimum. So it does give me a chance to put it on and let it work itself in. And I reckon I wanted to go up about 2/3 with orange. So about there.
About there, yep. See that grain coming out already?
Yeah. Oh yes.
Yeah, lovely. Look at that.
And that should be even. There's a little bit of a mark. You know those marks you were on about?
Yeah, it's still there, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
still there, but that's going to be
Amazing.
around the back.
Yeah, amazing how deep they went though.
We had a commercial cutting unit come onto site at Amberley Museum, and it pulled itself up the tree with massive teeth on 2 or 4 rollers, and that's where one dug in. I thought I'd just missed it, but I haven't. So
Pete says that's a suspiciously U shade of orange.
I'll behave, Pete.
And Andrew Wivy was suggesting if you want non-absorbent, Keith, use Isel. If you remember Isel, you're too old.
Makes your eyes water, that stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah. And Tommy says it would definitely smear it all over.
It wasn't a wipe, it was a scrape.
That was evil stuff.
Yeah.
And Stuart Engley says 2 revs per minute, Keith, or did you mean 2 revs per second?
I don't know. It's down to 2 revs. Not a second, is it? Hopefully I can.
Normally they measure in minutes, don't they? But
Yeah, I don't know. It's quite slow.
It's slow anyway. That's what matters.
Just need to fade the orange and the yellow into each other.
Yeah.
Blend them in a bit. Which is gradually happening.
Just bleached out there. You can't really see the yellow.
No. It's even worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to worry.
Going round doesn't help matters. Spinning it doesn't help it.
Nope.
So we got chestnut on the bottom and we got Mylands on the top, but they're both spirit stains. And they don't seem to fight each other.
Because they're not having a battle, are they, sir?
No. I think I'm happy with that, Andy. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Take my operating equipment off. Set that on there. Heat gun, just to help it. What you can do is you can see if you've got a hole by, yeah, I've got a hole there, it's blowing the dust up through it. And it's blowing the dust out that way, so we know we've got a hole through there. I thought it was. Right, that's dry. That can hang up. Now, I'm going on to some ultra fine Weebrax. Got a bit cut up. So go up to about 300-400 revs. And gently, I can see the dust coming off. I'm not sure that you guys can. But what I'm doing is I'm taking some of the high colour off.
Obviously, I'm coughing too much. Douglas suggested I needed to go out smoking woodbines. I don't like to say it, but I actually did that 8 years ago. So it's just I'm just getting over a cold again, just for a change.
You can see now that the grain is come out quite a bit more.
That's lovely, and it's
through,
yeah, and the colours fading a little bit, which is nice. Yeah.
At the time that's finished, coat of wax on that. That would look quite nice.
It will.
The orange is faded up into the yellow, and although you can't see it, wherever I stand,
if you lean forward a bit,
yeah, that just bleaches it out. But, you can just about see it. I'm just going to go a little bit more on there.
No, it wasn't woodbines, Douglas, but hey, I gave up smoking completely, the whole thing. But that's all history now.
Apart from the cough.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was smoking for 50 odd years, so it takes a little while to clear the system, I think. Roy's asking what colour lampshade you're using.
It's going to be Naturel. That's down to the person who buys it.
Yep, absolutely.
We've given them the option. So I'm quite sure which is going to be the best way of finishing this. I think I'm just going to hit it with some wax. Or do you reckon on...
yeah, I reckon wax would do it.
Sanding sealer first?
Probably.
Yeah.
Wax easier to finish, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've got some acrylic. So I'll hit it with some acrylic sanding sealer from Chestnut. I think I can just about get enough out of it.
Yes, I must get some more when we go out to Makers. Or did I buy some?
No, you bought some.
I bought some. Oh no, that's gloss lacquer. Yeah, no, I've only got a cellulose sanding sealant.
Right.
Yeah, I must get some more acrylic. I don't know why I didn't order any. So brain fart again.
Yeah. Just hit that with the heat gun. Help it dry. So again, starting it well away from the piece of work so that you don't cover it in dust. Got this on a fairly low setting, so I can get in a bit tighter than what one would normally do. That feels done. basted on all four sides. Screwdriver. Right, so Libron paste wax.
Yep.
Turn it right down. Massage it in. So this is acting as an abrasive, but not that abrasive because I don't want to take off too much. But I've put it on this clean side of the pad, so you should or could possibly see some colour in a minute. Although I've put sanding sealer on it, there might still be some breaking through, particularly the darker orange. We'll have a look in a second. It's just a little
Tiny bit, yeah.
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 So
Just
I'm
see
going
it. Yeah.
to turn it round, put a little bit more on, and go at it in the opposite direction. Now my jaws I've got screwed on so I can run forward and reverse without a problem. It was a worthwhile investment getting the back plate of this old chuck drilled and tapped out so that I can do that. It works for the style of turning I do. It's nice to
You
be able
use
to
reverse a lot more than most, don't you? So
yeah. See, it's picking up a little bit of colour on the paper.
that's right, you've got some to spare.
Yeah. Sure whether a quick tickle with the brush will make any difference. Got a little bit of dust accumulated on it. It's the static from the electric charge that is generated on the cameras. It's basically the weight of the paper and very light fingers on it. Don't want to put the wax on and take it all off again. I want to make the wax work, which it's done because there's nothing coming off now.
No, there's a shine on it too.
There is quite a shine on that. It's the light coming in off this other one that's not doing any
That's right. Yeah,
favours.
when you get in the way of it, it really zings. It's
Is that better?
A bit better, yeah, yeah. It's even better when you stand there like that. Yeah.
It's all right. I only got this to part off now.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
That's right. But no, it's lovely. And then we'll see it in all its glory.
make sure everything's locked down as I've been playing with it. I'm just going to put an edge on my parting tool because that seems to be fighting a bit.
In the meantime, if anybody's got any questions for Keith, just push them on the chat, and we'll deal with it.
Me or Andy, and either of us, I'm sure we can both answer them if necessary.
And then we haven't booked anything yet, so I can't put any links up. 12th, isn't it? Yeah. So next Tuesday lunchtime is Keith. And the following Tuesday is me in the evening and Keith at lunchtime. So the next 2 lunchtimes are Keith, and the 2 weeks' time in the evening is
me. And Rich will hopefully be on next Tuesday evening.
He should be. He promised me faithfully he wasn't going to mess it up this time and get it come in tonight. So, which I don't think he did. So that's all right. So yes, he'll be on next Tuesday evening.
Unless he's got a scout do or something.
Yeah, he hasn't said anything to me about it yet. So I'm assuming he hasn't.
Just going to need to get a little bit more light. No, I don't want that colour. Oh, come on, behave yourself. I've got one of those temperature changing lights. That's better. I just want to get it up to maximum brilliance so I can actually part this off and see where I'm parting. I'm right down the bottom.
See what you're doing, yeah. I'd hold it this end for you, but I can't reach it.
Say again?
I'd hold it this end for you, but I can't reach it.
Oh, I've still got 3/4 of an inch to go.
All right.
Which I can see because of the light.
Yeah. Does help, doesn't it?
But you also got to remember that there's an 8mm hole through the middle.
Yes, indeed.
Getting to the middle. There she goes.
Good.
I can kill that one now. I can turn that one back on. Brush myself down a bit. Let's come on to this one. Because now you can see the full range of the colours. That's the front to you guys now. And there's the hole for the flex to go in. So all I've got left is to sand off the bottom and screw the plate on. So I think that was the overhead one. Not sure whether you'll see a lot of it. But,
I suspect your hand will be in the way, but we'll see.
I'll go through the motions anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's come out well. It's come out nicely.
So that will fit on there. That's the pith right there. So I want to put that between 2 screws. I don't want to put a screw down the pith.
There's not much point.
So let's find a small drill. I'm almost organised. That's a small drill.
Fantastic. Looks fantastic, Keith. Very nice, Keith. Really nice. Looks
good. Thanks, guys.
Colour. So yes, some nice comments going through already.
Right, this is a 1.5mm bit. Just going to hopefully.
Still 45 watching.
Thanks, guys. You don't have to, but it does make it that much more enjoyable for us this end.
Yes.
That you're still there. So I've got 3x16s. Oh, you're on that camera. Got 3x16 screws, posi drive screws. I've countersunk this just before we come on.
Stuart's got to go. Good night, Stuart.
Thanks, Stuart. That's the first screw in. I can drill the other 2 holes. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my glasses off because they're a bit grubby. That's better. Daylight almost. That's 2 little pop holes made. They're only 16mm long, so I don't need to go a massive depth. That one. That one. Put that over there. I'm going to put the lid back on my screws because it's not the first time they've all been on the floor.
Yeah, you haven't got a product saver in those, have you?
No. No. So now I'm going to screw the lamp fitting on, and now I can go back to that one.
Yep.
And there we are, guys.
Very nice.
Tonight's little project. I'll show you the front.
Yeah,
Smiley
lovely.
face on the front, orange bleeding into yellow.
And the colours are subtle enough. That's
Yeah,
good.
and it's got its own switch on there, so I don't need an inline switch.
Greg Alexander has just got in. Look forward to watching it in full. So.
Right, I'll show you how I feed the wire up through. Hopefully, should have undone this and got rid of the knots earlier on, as it's been coiled up.
Yeah.
But it should work. So through the hole in the side.
Oh, you go that way? Yep, okay.
Yeah, I'm going that way. I'm just going to push it up to the centre. Find a small screwdriver.
And give it a bit of persuasion.
And ease it in from the bottom. It's got to come on. Oh, it's not quite central. That's why it's gone to one side. I can see the hole, but it's not quite central. Okay, we can get over that quite easy. Might as well show you how to do it. Get rid of the small drill bit. Put the 8mm back in. Which side was it? I've got to bring it over to me a fraction. So I'm going to put the drill in the hole. And I need to ease it this way towards me.
Yep.
So just use it as a cutter down the end. Hopefully, a little bit of jiggery pokery. Will be just enough to centralize the wire so that I can help it round the corner. You have to trust me with what I'm doing at the moment, because it will go. Once it starts to go, let's find a flat screwdriver rather than a posi. That's better. So I'm putting a bit of tension on it with my hand. You still can't really see, can you? I'm putting a bit of tension on with my hand.
The other way, that's it.
Back to front, yeah. And it's gradually working itself back in. So I'm pushing it in with my 2 fingers and easing it just around the corner. I think I could have afforded to go up at more of an angle to the top. I went in there fairly flat. And through going in fairly flat, I've made myself a bit of an issue. But it will. It's going. This is where you want the 3rd pair of hands. Being that it's wire, you can't put a lot of straight line pressure on it. It only wants to do about 4 mil at a time.
Yeah.
That is getting there. I think I'll fill up the top with sawdust, that's why. Didn't help.
That blew it out.
Yeah, blew some of it out, yeah. It's the other disadvantage with ash, that it is a fairly coarse wood. Pete's, yeah, I know what you're saying, Pete. I've tried both, but this tends to lock the cable in, so you don't need to put a clamp on it. I think I was a bit mean with the entry hole. It is going. A bit furry in the hole, I think, as well, which isn't helping. Well, I'm not going to wire it up, so I don't need to go any further. But that's...
We get where you're going.
Yeah, you can see where I'm going, so that is the... Bring it back up to me level.
We need wireless electricity, don't we?
Yeah, it's not quite high enough. Fully adjustable cameras, if you go the right way. So we've got the wire going in the back, almost coming out the top. You see the little decoration I put on the top, just a little dish on the top. And there it is, guys.
It's lovely.
So we've finished it at just short of 12 inches in height and just short of 5.5 inches. Yeah, about 5.5 inches diameter. And from top to bottom, oh, it's only 9 inches, it's shorter. I thought that was a 12-inch blank I had, but hey,
just short of an hour and a half. So
right. So that's it, guys. Thank you all for bearing with me. And hopefully you've enjoyed it. You've learnt a bit. Or seen another way of doing it. Because there's more than one way of doing everything that us woodturners
yes,
do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's bring the lad back in.
Oh, all right. Yep.
Here he is.
I recognise him.
Yeah, I've seen him before. So,
somewhere kicking about.
Yeah. So, could you not strip some of the wire to feed it up? You could, Roy, but I don't think it's. I think once I sit down and put it between my knees and do it, it will fly up there.
If you're pulling it through with a lead wire or something, then stripping it off does help. But if you're pushing it through, then it doesn't, because there's more edges to catch.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if the worst comes to the worst, what I'll do is I'll pull it out and start again.
Yeah. And you could always drill another bigger hole at the bottom if you want to. As Pete was saying, but
drill it uphill some more.
Drill it more of an angle. Yeah, that would do it, wouldn't it? So yeah, there are lots of ways around it. But no, it's lovely. Anyway, very nice.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, indeed.
Looks like those that I can see without going through the chat have enjoyed it.
Yes, there's some nice comments from going way back up.
Comment. Yeah, and
we do. They're nice people.
If you want to put a comment underneath the video when it goes up on YouTube, please feel free. I generally acknowledge them all and possibly answer if there's a question.
Just down there.
Yeah, underneath there, Andy. That's something different. I will get this pat tested, although it's not compulsory now. I will get it checked out and checked. As it's got a plastic lamp holder, I don't need it earthed. And particularly as the base is recessed into the top, you can't get your finger anywhere near it, so you're not anywhere near any metalwork.
No.
And I always explain to people when they buy it that you just need to be careful. It is safe now, but if you do anything with it, it might not be safe.
Yes, so don't change it. Yep.
Yeah. So as far as
Good.
I can see, guys, that's it. I will see if I can get some pictures of this up, and also last week's live, which I realise I haven't got up yet, but one or two issues, problems, and bits and pieces to sort out indoors. So I'm a little bit behind in that. So I'm going to hit the off button, guys. Thank you all for joining us. And
say good night.
I'm live next Tuesday lunchtime.
Yep.
And then it's a fortnight's time that we're both live again.
That's right. I'm in the evening, you're at lunchtime. Yep.
Right. Yeah, I thought that's what it was. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Indeed.
Cheerio. Thanks for your time.
Cheers.
Hopefully
be good.
you've learned something. And if you haven't, let us know and we'll try to do something different next time. Right.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye.